And we are approaching the end of our incredible RPG battle system journey. So some finishing touches, making sure these animations are running smoothly, that the interactions go off without a hitch. And that's what I'm showing, well, hopefully behind me right now. That's what I intend to be showing behind me right now. I'm really excited to finish this off. Make sure you tell me all of the awesome stuff about all the awesome stuff you create, how you've made this game your own in the comment and the descriptions. And yeah, please hit subscribe. It's also super encouraging, but whatever, let's get going. Let's take a look at where we were at. So we have our animations working. Remember, the menu here hides, which is perfect. We don't want the player to be able to click on an attack when it's the enemy's turn. And we were about to tackle this error right here. I believe, well, here, let's go ahead and take a look and do some debugging. Target stats. The victim. All right, so let's take care of that. I'm going to clear this. And let's see here. If it's going to happen at this instance, it looks... Oh, here we are. We should actually be doing this not on start, but on awake. For our enemy and for our hero, if we're going to grab them by the tag, to avoid issues, let's do void awake. And that just means once the pieces have been generated, and once the objects are ready to rock, then we're going to grab, and that way we won't miss them, just in case the objects have not loaded yet and we attempted to already declare and assign these variables. Let's hit save. That looks good, and let's see how it goes now. Boom! And we have an enemy hit, which is exactly what we want. Attempt for enemy magic fill is not valid. Input locale, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's take a look at that. We go ahead, pause, and clear. And it looks like, yes. So for what's going on here, update magic fill, we want to make sure there's something that has changed, because if cost is 0, there's no reason to update this. So I'm going to do a search on this. Let's find where it's getting called. Here it is. So attacker stats, update magic fill, magic cost. Let's just do an if magic cost is greater than 0, then we'll do this stuff. Then it makes sense. Let me go to this extra space. And then if magic attack, that's fine. Damage is equal to this. Owner, get component, receive damage. Let's just double check receive damage, that we also have something preventing it from attempting to change this scale to 0 by multiplying by 0, and we don't. So if health is greater, if health is less than or equal to 0, they're dead. Else, let's make sure there's damage done, because if damage is not being done, it would be the same anyways. So why run through this? Else, if damage is greater than 0, yeah, that's fine, and then run all that. So let's save all this. And actually, let's just make super duper sure here. Let's go ahead and, yeah, over this function inside of it, I'm just going to do an if cost is less than 1, so that would mean it's free, there's not a real cost. Why run the code at all? I'm just going to cut and paste it up in here. Okay, and then let's also double check some things. Magic transform, let's put this at an awake function. Apparently it's gonna... oh, it's trying to help me. Aha! My brain bad computer, good. Okay, that's looking great. Let's save all of this. We could also, although we shouldn't have to, assign these values. Yeah, let's leave that for now. Game controller. That's fine. Oh, I thought I got rid of that. Okay, let's take a peek. Clear all this out. Or not. What did I do now? Oh, I somehow left a quote in here. Okay. That's how I did it. There we go. Save. Boom. Awesome. Great, great, great. And if we click on our wizard here, all looks well. Notice this didn't pop up because it doesn't know it is a new turn situation. So let me go here, and let's head back over here. I'm wondering, I believe the wizard should have suffered some damage, so just to make sure on that, let's go into attack. Magic doesn't matter. receive damage. So target status, receive damage. Receive damage. So let's just do a debug to make sure. Exclamation points. And then while we're here, this is a function that will just keep the game going. And it is, pop it in here, void. We'll just call it continue game, because that would make a heck of a lot of sense, because it's a continue game function. What we need is game, nope, not game controller. Now we need it. Dot get component. Oh, did we call it game controller object? That's what we need. I wanted to differentiate between it and its script for this reason. And then what are we going to get? Well, we're going to get the game controller script, which is just called game controller. And then we want to grab from that the next turn. So we're going to say, hey, go next turn. And the reason I'm doing it here, down here, is because I'm going to invoke it, which means I don't want to do it instantaneously after a turn. So I'm going to call this invoke, because if it goes that fast, you can't even tell what's happening. Invoke. Continue game. And then we'll say 2 seconds after. So just a 2-second pause. You can see if you got hit and things like that. And then the game should keep on rolling. And let's see if we are getting hit. Oh yeah, we got hit. Damage received. Trying to invoke method couldn't be called. Fighter stats continue game. Oh, that's because I can't spell. I'm going to copy and paste this. That's fun. Make sure to save it and try it again. Boom. Oh, hit twice. Now, I must have not gotten hit hard. Let's give one of my moves a shot. Alright, so we're receiving damage. Let's go ahead. What we need to have happen is make sure that this is clickable, right? So let's play. Boom. Voila. Wacha. And then it won't allow us to click. So there's a few things that could be happening here. Since we had tested it earlier and it was working, I don't think it's the code, which means it's probably having to do with the layering of canvases, which you do always need to be careful about. So let's start with the canvas it's on, the heads-up canvas. And, oh, and I see a problem. Default. Well, if we look at the background canvas, it should also be default. We need the heads-up canvas to be clearly above, clearly on top of the background canvas. So let's add a sorting layer, and I'll just go ahead and call this UI, right? User interface, great. We click off of that, head back to our canvas, and give it the UI setting. Let's try that again. Kwacha. Kwacha. And he does get 2 moves there, and that is because of the difference in speed. So occasionally this guy will be getting 2 moves, and we can adjust speed accordingly if we don't like that. Let's try it. Yep, there we are. Notice his attack animation, his hit animation plays, but it doesn't look like the wizard's. Oh no, the wizard's is just really quick. Notice health going down. That's awesome. That's great too. I am noticing as well this magic is not being infected, right? So affected. So our magic bar should be going down too. So we need to make sure we called that function. All right, let's go ahead and stop this. A lot of doing debugging, I often put debug.log in here, and we'll take a look at that. Let's go ahead though, real quick, wizard. Let's go back to our project, and within our project, we need to go to animations and wizard, and let's make sure damage is a bit longer because it just plays so fast. What we could do even is we could again add another sprite to the end of this, but I think I'm just going to pull it back some. Let's see. I'm going to go to 35 and that should be great. Okay, let's dive into some code. So what I was talking about is that, oh yeah, update magic fill is right here, but did we actually call this? No, it doesn't look like we did. And so you do want to call that. Where do we want to call it? We wouldn't really want to call it here, right? Because the person whose magic has possibly changed is not the person receiving damage. So where do we ask receive damage to run? That should be, is it a text script? Just kidding, right? Oh, yeah, it was a text script. Okay, here we are, receive damage. Now, who's that going to run on? It's going to run on the target. Receive damage runs on the target, which means we would want update magic fill to run on the perpetrator, the owner, the person attacking. Here's my debugging little message, debug log damage received, just to make sure they were receiving damage. I'll go ahead and eliminate that. That was what was popping up. And under this, we'll say owner, because that's what I called, well, the owner dot update. Oh, owner stats, did I say? Attacker stats, okay. Update magic fill pops up right away, and then we need to pass the cost. And so if magic cost, so what are we going to pass here? Magic cost. That's looking good. And that is looking good. What else we want to add here? Magic scale hero. Interesting. Oh, we want the magic scale to be impacted. I don't think we're going to need... Use this? Nope. We're not going to need this within here, right? Because we're using a function and calling to an outside. So we can get rid of this whole chunk of code. Do we use this? Nope. We should have put all of that. Yeah. We put all of that within fighter stats instead. It made more sense. So we won't be needing that either. Just doing some cleanup as we go. All right. And let's go ahead and add some text so we know how much damage is occurring when the player does get hit. Allow it to refresh, head to scenes, and we're just going to grab a text element. Heads up canvas. And I'll just say battle message maybe. Boom. And then I'm going to start this 0, 0, 0. It won't even be visible at first, but just while we're designing it. And then I believe I had picked earlier gunplay. Yeah, that one. And let me see what it looks like over here. Teeny tiny. Let's go 24. And we can't see because we need to do wrap and overflow. What did I do with 32? Centered, great. For this, since this is going to be like the hit thing, talking about the hit, let's go even larger, and then, or even, let's make it red instead. Maybe I'll make that red a bit darker. And obviously, how large you want this text is going to be a personal preference. I'm just kind of messing around with it. I am liking this, and now let me go back to scene. Let's go ahead and center it, and not that this will matter, but center it. And width and height, it won't matter because how we're doing this. But I'm going to just put that at 80, so it is. But we are allowing it to overflow regardless. And then let me pull this up. And again, wherever you like, whatever you think is a good spot for it, that is a good spot for it. All right, I'm going to increase that to 50. Battle message, ready to go. And we're actually going to start this hidden. And this will just pop up when the player is hit. So let me, and where we're going to put this is within, we need to add it to where the player receives the damage. Right? Because here's the attack, but we need to know how much the player is actually hit with. So they could, depending upon the numbers within here. So damage, health equals health. Oh, actually, that math, yes, definitely. That math is happening, although we can do it right above invoke, because we know everything is settled. Let's do a serialized field, and we want the battle text. So I'm just going to copy all of this, and enter, and private text, and you need to have UI for text to work. Battle text. Let's save that and add it right away before I forget. And if you don't want to add this to everything, you could also, in game control, we could add it into here and grab it from here. So if we don't want to put it in everything, we could, since each user will have it, but they don't really need their own variable for it, we could do this. And actually just make it public so we can access it. And we need to add unityengine.ui, copy, paste. Let's save all that. Let's eliminate it here, because that makes a bit more sense. There's no real reason to have it in fighter. You're just going to have to assign it each time over here for each fighter. Game control, battle text, and we're going to go ahead and grab our battle message. Great. And then back over to attack script, or we were going to put it right above invoke. So getting there. Lost it. There we are. So right above invoke, what I'll do now is I'm going to say oops, I need to, of course, let's do private and game object. We're going to do game object because we're going to grab it. Private game object, game controller object. So private game object, game controller object, right? And maybe just to differentiate it, something like this. and then we'll assign this. I'm going to copy that. I'll go down here, paste, and what is it going to be? Equal to game object dot bind, and then we'll just paste in its name. Oh. Okay. And now down here we can use it. So game controller object dot get component, and then the script, which is just game controller. And then what do we want from this script? We're going to want the battle text. Okay. And what are we going to want the battle text to do? We're going to say dot text is equal to our damage dot to string. And I need this. And so that will set the text to be equal to this damage. However, we are hiding the text, remember, so we need to do copying and pasting dot set. We don't want to set this text itself. What am I doing? We have to do game object dot set active to true. Okay. And true in C# is lowercase. There we are. So now it's going to be visible, and then it will be set equal to whatever damage is equal to. It will pause for 2 seconds, and then the game will continue, which means in game controller at the top, right? Not at start. At next turn, let's go ahead and make sure that text is hidden. Thankfully, it's more accessible here. We can just do battle text dot game object dot set active to false to go ahead and make sure it is hidden. Let's save all this and see what we have. Let me make sure. And while I'm thinking of this, let's make sure our damage is rounded, right? We don't want 11.978432 on the screen. And what we can do, let's actually just do it right here, right before we pass it to receive damage. So we're going to use seal to int should be mathf. Let's see, that's looking fine. Every language is a bit different. Let's double check. I had it highlighted. Math F, yes, that is what we need. And that should there. With this, though, we also want to think about displaying the damage. Let's say the user's defense is fairly high and damage of 0. I really don't want to display 0. We could, but I don't really see the point if they didn't actually get damaged. So for me, set active to true string. I'm just going to hide this if it's 0. So if, or only do it if damage is greater than 0. And otherwise, we just want to show anything. Let me cut that, paste that. All right, this is looking good. Let's save all of this. And now let's give it a shot. Five, and you can see health. And yes, he still gets 2 turns at the beginning. And again, that's because of the speed calculations we do. If we adjust the player's speed here, it changes how many turns or how fast they are moving and the calculation of when and how they get those turns. Let's hit arrow. Boom. Okay, and it looks like we need to double check our magic, because that should have been a magic move. Oh, maybe not. His is moving. Oh, interesting. Here. Range is magic. That is not. So let's double check what's going on there. But this is looking really nice. Great. Okay, so the magic was moving, but it was moving at the wrong points. Let me see here. Now, update magic. So if a spell is not, or if a move is not magic, like this, its magic cost is 0. And if its magic cost is 0, then when we do update magic cost, oh, I need to flip this. So we want magic, though, if magic's cost is greater than 0, then we want this to run. Okay. That will make some more sense. Let's try that one more time. So let's double check here. The giant just did the range attack, and its magic cost should be 5. How much magic does... Yep, and so that should take a good chunk of his magic away. And then let's go try a magic attack for our wizard. Now let's see my wizard. Now my wizard should have magic of 20, but this is a 10 attack, so you can see how it takes a good chunk away. Now we would want to implement something that doesn't allow magic moves if they don't have enough, right? So now this is showing negative when they shouldn't have been able to perform that move at all. And it seems like, let me double check here, if magic cost is greater than 0, so it looks like this, right? We are setting attacker stats update magic fill to the cost of the magic. And we actually didn't adjust magic in here. We did it in the fighter stats instead. So this is kind of leftover. We don't want to set up the magic fill to equal the actual cost of the magic. That doesn't even make sense. So let's get rid of that. And then also, what if the player doesn't have enough magic? We want them to lose their turn. So I'm just going to put an else statement here to make it so they would lose their turn, but we need the game to continue. Now, we could call this continue game function from over another, but I'm honestly going to be lazy. Control C, go back. I'm just going to copy the whole thing in here. Control V. Just so I know the difference, I'm going to say skip turn continue game, because it's within attack. What we're really doing is they had a magic attack and we're skipping their turn. So Control C on this, and then I'm going to do invoke, just like I did in fighter stats. And then in quotes, Control V, skip turn, continue game, and we'll wait 2 seconds. That is looking good. Okay, let's go ahead. Let me scroll up here. Save. Now let me double check. Oh, one more line right here. So when we were trying to adjust the magic inside, right, we need to get rid of this because we're adjusting the magic within the stats itself. Let me save all this. Okay, that's looking good. And let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, it's still, oh well. Quapow! And notice the magic goes down. I should fix that because I set his range attack to be 0. Let's use the magic. Quapow! Boom. Oh, we got in a double move because he's faster. Boom. Hit. There we go. And he shouldn't do any magic anymore because he's out of it. And notice he just skipped his turn because he attempted to do magic. Cool. Boom. And we win. Okay. Let's take a look at what's going on over here. This actually, let me go ahead and clear this. This might be an error with Unity itself, so it's a good time to save the project. And I'm just going to restart Unity and then reappear. All right, and I just restarted Unity. Looks like it's loaded back up, and our error is gone. So that was just an issue within Unity itself. Let's go ahead and do a maximize on play, but first we can mess with these values, and I've done some testing myself. It should be all smoothed out by now. Let's go ahead and put my magic, I'll lower that a bit, and then what if we actually give the enemy a bit of power on his range attack, maybe a 6, okay? Or you can do higher or lower. All right, let's give this a try. Ooh, I want the... Okay, so we got hit, but not much. It cost him a ton of magic. Ooh, 19, take that. 1, yeah. Bam. Oh, that wasn't even worth anything. 2. Lame. Maybe I made it too easy for us. And that's the fun thing. You can really play with these numbers. You can have different enemies. Oh, I was out of magic. That's not enough magic for my spell, so I got my turn skipped. And something fun to do also is you could switch icons to be a skull when the player loses. We haven't given any effect. Our giant must have just tried to do magic and out of magic for run, because that is for larger games, RPGs, things of that nature, where you could run from a battle. Of course, we could have done a magic move, a range move, or something like that, so we had 3 distinct moves, but I just wanted the option in case you want to build this out into a larger game. My turn's going to be skipped because I just clicked magic. Ooh, hit. And we are victorious. Also, keep in mind for speed, there we are, we don't have an end screen. That is something that is fun to do, and you can toy around with that on your own. For speed, that does control turns, and that's why sometimes the giant would get 2 turns in a row. He's a bit faster. Depending on how much faster you make him compared to the wizard or the hero, that's going to vary the order and the rate of turns. And that's what we use the compare to in our code for. All right, so I will be posting all of this in the description. Everything I've used is Creative Commons Zeros or public domain, so my code and the assets and all of that will be linked in the description. Feel free to use it and make something really, really awesome. If you do, you should definitely tell me about it below. And if you're still watching this, which you are, because you are, make sure to hit like, make sure to hit subscribe. It's super encouraging. It is kind. It creates world peace. I don't know. It does whatever we need it to do. But I super appreciate that. And if you have any questions or want to share something awesome, make sure to comment. So, ta-da!